Welcome to Lost at Sea Tales, where we dive into the haunting stories of ships, sailors, and voyages swallowed by the vast, unforgiving ocean. Each tale uncovers mystery, tragedy, and survival against the endless deep. Settle in as we journey into the chilling history of those forever lost at sea. Lost at Sea presents The Day the Lake Vanished, the true story of Lake Peigneur. Lake Peigneur, a name that once meant peace, small, shallow lake tucked into the quiet bayous of southern Louisiana. It was barely 11 feet deep, a gentle mirror of the sky, framed by moss-covered trees and the hum of cicadas. Fishermen came here at dawn. Locals picnicked on the banks. Families lived nearby, their homes nestled among the oaks and cypress trees. On the surface, this lake was ordinary. Beneath it lay something extraordinary, a massive salt dome, stretching thousands of feet below the surface. And inside that salt dome, carved by generations of miners, was a maze, a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers. The Jefferson Island salt mine. For decades, miners had worked those tunnels, chiseling white salt from the earth's bones. They knew every crack, every turn, every sound the mine made. No one suspected that above them something was being planned, something that would change their world forever. In 1980, the oil company Texaco partnered with the drilling contractor Wilson Brothers to explore beneath Lake Peigneur. Their goal: to locate new oil deposits hidden under the salt dome. On the morning of November 20th, the crew boarded their floating rig, Rig 8. It stood proudly in the middle of the lake, 150 feet tall, a tower of metal and noise against the still water. The men checked their gauges, prepared their tools, and began drilling through layers of clay and limestone. Below them, deep in the salt mine, 50 miners were already hard at work. Worlds, one above, one below, both unaware of how dangerously close they were to each other. They relied on geological maps, diagrams that showed exactly where the mine ended and where it was safe to drill. But those maps were wrong. They were off by just a few dozen feet, and that tiny error was enough to bring the lake down. At 1,228 feet, the drill bit struck something. The machinery shuddered. The drill pipe groaned. Crew members gathered around the gauges. The pressure readings were dropping rapidly. Something wasn't right. They tried to retract the drill, but it was stuck. Then came a sharp metallic snap, the sound of the drill string breaking off deep below the surface. Moments later, the men heard a strange gurgling sound rising through the water. Then bubbles. The calm surface of Lake Peigneur began to churn. The water spun slowly at first, then faster. One of the crew shouted, "Get the boats now!" They didn't know it yet, but the drill had punctured straight through the roof of the salt mine below, creating a direct connection between the lake and the vast hollow caverns beneath it. And the lake was now beginning to drain. Far below in the Jefferson Island mine, the shift had been ordinary until the sound came. A deep, thunderous roar from somewhere above. The miners froze. At first they thought it was thunder. Then they saw it, a stream of water bursting from the ceiling, spraying across the tunnel floor. Within seconds, that trickle became a torrent. Water poured in from every direction, filling the chambers. The mine's alarm system blared. 50 men dropped their tools and began the desperate run to the surface. They raced through the maze, down narrow passageways lit only by flickering bulbs. Some jumped into mine carts and pushed off, hurtling down the dark tracks. Others climbed ladders toward the elevators, their boots slipping on the wet salt. Behind them, the tunnels began collapsing. The roar of water was deafening. But against all odds, every single miner escaped. 50 lives saved by seconds of luck. When they looked back, the entrance to the mine had already disappeared beneath a wave of muddy water. Above ground, chaos had erupted. The whirlpool in the center of Lake Peigneur had grown into a monster, a roaring, spinning vortex pulling everything into its heart. The oil rig was the first to go. The 150-foot-tall structure creaked, twisted, and vanished into the swirling pit. The men who had escaped by boat watched in horror as the rig disappeared below the surface, dragged down as if by the hand of some unseen giant. Then the barges began to move. 11 massive barges moored nearby broke loose and were sucked into the whirlpool. Trees, trucks, earth itself began to slide. The shoreline crumbled, dragging entire acres of land into the abyss, even part of the Texaco parking lot gone. Witnesses miles away could see the whirlpool, a spiraling column of water and debris disappearing into the ground. As the lake drained into the mine, something extraordinary happened. The Del Cumbre Canal, a man-made channel that connected the lake to the Gulf of Mexico, began to flow backward. Salt water from the Gulf was sucked inland, creating a waterfall over 160 feet tall, the largest Louisiana had ever seen. Imagine it, an 11-foot deep lake draining into the earth, while the ocean rushed to fill the void. For hours, the ground trembled as if the world itself were collapsing. Then, slowly it stopped. By evening, Lake Peigneur was gone. In its place was a crater, a gaping hole more than 1,300 feet deep. When dawn came, the devastation was unimaginable. Where there had once been a gentle lake, there was now a massive, muddy pit. Uprooted trees floated in swirling eddies. Broken barges and twisted metal littered the water's edge. The miners' tunnels gone, the drilling rig gone. Everything had been swallowed by the earth, and yet, miraculously, not a single person had died. 50 miners escaped the flood. All of the Texaco workers made it to safety. His small boat lifted by the whirlpool's current and carried safely to shore. Over the next few days, the Gulf of Mexico continued to flow backward through the canal, refilling the crater. When the flow stabilized, Lake Peigneur was reborn, but not as it had been before. The fresh water was gone. The new lake was deep, over 1,000 feet in places, and filled with salt water. The vegetation that once lined its shores died off, replaced by new growth in the years to come. Today, it stands as a calm, reflective body of water once again. But beneath the surface, deep in the salt caverns, lie the remains of the drilling rig, the barges, and the machinery, entombed forever in the mine below. The Lake Peigneur disaster remains one of the most extraordinary industrial accidents in history. A simple human error, a misplaced drill hole led to the collapse of a lake, the reversal of a canal, and the destruction of a salt mine. Texaco eventually paid over $30 million in damages, but no price could repair what was lost. For locals, the memory never faded. They say that on still nights when the water lies perfectly flat, you can hear something, a faint, hollow echo from beneath the surface, like the sound of rushing water deep below. Some believe it's just the movement of underground springs. Others think it's something else, a whisper from the drowned chambers of the Jefferson Island mine. Whatever it is, Lake Peigneur stands as a haunting reminder of the day the earth opened up and swallowed a lake whole. This was Lost at Sea.